Yeah,
Before we wrap this up, Moonshine, I want to do a little rapid fire questions
sure.
with you. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna give you a simple question. You just tell me your answer. All right.
All right.
All right. I feel like I know the answer to this one, but Rock or Austin?
Rock or Austin? Austin, all
Austin.
day, all
That's
all day. Gosh, I hated Rock back in the day, man. I used to just get so tired of him talking. Like, just shut up already. And now I look back and I'm like, man, I was crazy. But here we go. Austin for sure.
all right. WWF or WCW?
Woo! I grew up. I first started a WCW boy, so that's what got me in. Sting and NWO hooked me, and then after I was hooked, WWF brought me over.
All right. Missouri barbecue or Texas barbecue?
Texas barbecue and the
Yeah.
brisket, man. They don't do the brisket as well as they do, but the ribs here and the burn ends. Come to Kansas City, man. They're the best. The ribs and the burn ends.
All right. I'll definitely have to make my way up. Um, favorite genre of music?
Whoo, man, I like rock, but I also listen to a lot of like '90s, like like hip hop. Like I'm really into like Public Enemy, NWA, just a lot of like stuff in like the '90s, stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite band?
Favorite band of all time would probably be Rage Against the Machine.
Amazing choice.
Yeah.
Who is your hardest hitting opponent?
Ooh. Um, who has hit me the hardest, or one of the, okay, we'll say who has hit me the hardest was probably Max Castellano. And if you guys don't know him, you need to look his ass up because we had a lot of good stuff in SWE, and he and I both beat the shit out of each other. Um, one of the hardest, or probably one of the strongest people I've ever been in the ring was Keith Lee. No one's ever chopped me that hard, and no one's ever been able to like just toss me up like I'm just effortless, just nothing. So hardest hitting Max, uh, strongest and heaviest hitter Keith Lee.
All right. Tables or ladders?
Give me. You know what? I haven't had my luck with ladders, man. Anytime I went through a ladder, I've had fiberglass like stuck in my back, and then I've also that's one of I think my right elbow is that's how I initially chipped the bone is on the ladder. So I we'll go with tables because I've only put through people through tables.
Yeah, we'll go with tables. Football or basketball?
Ooh, this is a hard one, man. It's I want to go with both because I played so much basketball growing up and whatever like that. But I think now like when I watch basketball, I don't like to start watching until like the second half. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I can't. Basketball's just so long sometimes. Football, yeah, man. I'd say they're about even. So we'll go with both on that one.
All right. Are you still a Texas football and basketball fan, or do you
Oh
have
yeah.
teams in Kansas
So
City?
yeah. So football wise, I go with the Cowboys, even though they break my heart every single season, and every year it's our year, but it's not. And then I'll always be a Spurs fan, but before the Spurs, and I was a Chicago Bulls fan before the Spurs. So I grew up Michael Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, man. Like grew up that was it, man. That was my childhood. So even to this day, I'm a big Bulls fan.
Definitely, greatness. Got to recognize it.
Yep.
And finally, who is your biggest inspiration in wrestling?
Who? Mick Foley. And like just like I said, you get to meet your heroes, and they don't disappoint. I got to meet Mick Foley and tell him he's one of the reasons I got into wrestling. Um, I when I was a kid and I went to my first show, I met Mick Foley at a signing at a Kmart before the show in Austin, and then it was just a house show. Went there that night, had a blast or whatever. Years later, he put out his book, read his book multiple times. But the one thing, you know, that Mick Foley inspired me to do was go to college, man, because people in my family and just we're not college people, right? So when I read his book, one of the things he harped on biggest to any guy or girl getting into wrestling was to have a backup plan. So I took that to heart, and I was like, okay, shit, well, I'm gonna have some sort of backup plans. What I went and I went and I got a college degree. I was the first in my family to do so, and yeah, man, it was so biggest inspiration in wrestling would be Mick Foley because not only did he inspire me to get in, not only was he the first wrestler I ever met, and he couldn't have been nicer, but he also inspired me to push myself and go get a college degree.